My name is Sequoia Sheriff, and I am a guest moderator, and I'm excited to welcome you to the second premiere screening of New Wave, which is being presented in the documentary competition section of the festival. We would like to thank Firelight Media, who are co-hosting this screening with Tribeca Festival. Now, please welcome Impact producers Gabby, Nguyen, and Connie Chick of Asian Americana.
Hi everyone. Thanks so much for coming. We're so excited to have you. For those who don't know me, my name is Gabby. This is Connie, and we're the co-founders of Asian Americana, impact producers for this film. Before we talk a little bit about how we're involved in the film, I just wanted to share how we first got connected with the director, Elizabeth Ai, who's in the film, who you'll see in a little bit. So 4 years ago, I was trying to explain what Vietnamese New Wave was to my boyfriend. He's not Vietnamese, he's white. But he's really nice. But I'm a Vietnamese, and I came from a family of Vietnamese refugees and Vietnamese immigrants. Grew up in Houston, Texas, and grew up listening to new wave music. My aunts and uncles and my parents were always like going out and dancing and listening to 80s music. They idolized this woman named Lynda, who is the Vietnamese Madonna, who some of you sounds like you know, who's also in this film. And I had never heard it talked about or named in any way, so I Google searched it and I came across this article about this woman who was making this film called New Wave about this topic, and I immediately DM'd her over Instagram, and we connected. I connected her with my family in Houston, and you'll actually see some photos of them in the film as well. And she and I just bonded and got along, and over the course of those years, we kept in touch. And at that same time, Connie and I also met. We worked on a project together that was actually about Asian American creativity. I was the client, she was the agent, or agency. She was at the agency, she's an art director. And then we just bonded over this shared topic of supporting Asian American women in film and telling their stories. Long story short, all these things are kind of happening at the same time over the course of the last 4 years. I'm visiting Elizabeth on set. Connie and I get laid off from our corporate jobs, so we have a lot of time to do things that we care about. We start a nonprofit called Asian Americana to empower Asian women and femmes to succeed on their own terms. I introduced Connie to Elizabeth, and we all kind of just bond over this shared passion. And Elizabeth introduces us to this term called narrative plentitude. And if you don't know what narrative plentitude is, it's a term that was coined by Nguyen, who is a Vietnamese novelist. And it's really about having a spectrum and variety of stories, because I think, and as any minority group, and Asian Americans in particular, we kind of have what's called narrative scarcity. So there are only one or two versions that we see. So one is like the model minority, A+ student, crazy rich version of us, or the like trauma, sad, destitute story. And so the hope is to be able to have more and more stories that are multifaceted and multidimensional, much like we believe this film is. And Connie's just gonna talk a little bit about how our involvement in the film came to be.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. So we are now impact producers on New Wave, and just to give a little context on what impact producing is, we're promoting a film that has social and political impact in the world. And so personally, we also just really resonated with this story. And last year we started working with New Wave to put on their first event that was the start of their impact campaign in LA. And we put on a celebration for Vietnamese creativity and preserving Asian American storytelling. We did this through a zine workshop and also a speaker panel that was featuring all Vietnamese women scholars and artists. And we called this New Wave, A Rising Tide. The name was, of course, for the movie New Wave, but it was also talking about something that we were seeing in the world, and that was an emerging new wave of Asian American creatives. So we're really excited here today to share this movie with you guys, and After Tribeca, we have a few more screenings happening in partnership with Welcome to Chinatown, Bubble Tea, and the One Club for Creativity.
And then the last thing, last line. Elizabeth, who you'll see in the film, has been working on this film for 6 years. So we're so excited. She also just won an honorable jury mention for Best New Documentary Director. Is that how I say it? Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. It was recently featured in the New York Times and Vogue, which we're just so overjoyed about and like shocked by and still processing. But yeah, thank you so much. This film is a love letter to, without giving away too much about the film, anyone who has a complicated relationship with their parents, anyone who has an untold story like that they feel they haven't shared yet, and people who love dancing to 80s music. So we hope you enjoy the film.